Today we're going to be discussing characters that were way OP. I'm talking about overpowered. But somehow they got nerfed. They became weaklings. Not because of villains or their enemies, but because of bad writing, plot holes, or just studio drama. The first category which we're going to discuss is like the soft nerf. Like these other characters, they were nerfed, but it wasn't like epic nerf. The first I'm going to discuss, the Winter Soldier himself. This is a guy who's definitely was nerfed. If you saw him when he made his appearance opposite Captain America, this guy was like a real badass. He was a villain. He had the hair, he had the shades. He was whooping all types of butt all over the place. Captain America and company cannot keep up with the Winter Soldier. I'm talking about assassin, ice cold. His moves and his arm was unstoppable. But what happened? Today we'll be discussing on The Tone Show, the most overpowered characters that became weaklings in popular culture. Okay, so I'm gonna break this down into different categories. At the end of this video, I'm gonna discuss legends to liabilities. That's like my top nerf. Like these people were epically nerfed, so stick around for that. Once he got like introduced into being like an anti-hero good guy, then the problems came, right? He got freaking super duper nerfed when he faced Spider-Man. Yes, it is Spider-Man, but him and Falcon, who became Captain America, got super nerfed when they dealt with him. Spider-Man basically just tangled them up in the webs, and it was like, Bucky's not even here. And if you saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which most people didn't on Disney+, you saw that he was nerfed so many times that he was having problems with characters that should not have been problems, right? So he was super duper nerfed, I would give him. He went from being a badass assassin to like, oh, that's just Bucky. And don't tell me that an attitude change alone can depower a character that much, because I'm not buying it. So Bucky's definitely soft nerfed. Another character that's definitely soft nerfed is Daryl Dixon from the Walking Dead series. When he was introduced, he was a badass biker, a tracker, a survivor. Like Daryl was one of the people you did not want to mess with in the apocalypse. But in later season, it seemed like every time Daryl interacted with another group, he was getting captured. Like it's a drinking game at this point. Like every time Daryl gets knocked out and captured, like you could take a drink, right? And not even just in The Walking Dead. Like I'm talking about his own spin-off. Like Daryl went to France and got knocked out and kidnapped and put in a cage in another country. Like that's how ridiculous it gets. And when he escapes, he takes everybody out. But Daryl Dixon, come on, y'all. You can't get captured that many times and still survive in the zombie apocalypse. He was nerfed. Okay, this last character we're gonna talk about that was soft nerfed in the soft nerf category has to go to Daredevil. And I'm talking about Netflix Daredevil, and even now when Daredevil's on Disney+. Like Daredevil in the comics, he throws blows with Spider-Man. Spider-Man holds back all the time. The dude could pick up a bus if he wanted to. And we've seen him stop a train in his own movie. So the fact that Daredevil can go against Spider-Man in the comics and hold his own, it says a lot. But when it comes to the Marvel Netflix shows, yeah, Daredevil's throwing some nice choreography in those hallway fight scenes. But come on, you got dudes in tracksuits and hoodies giving him problems. Like Daredevil should be cleaning house, no problem. The dude should just be throwing those damn billy sticks, whatever, and knocking people's butts out. But no, the dude's throwing fisticuffs with these people. Like, why are they even standing up to him in a fight? Daredevil, just his super advanced senses, he should be seeing where these blows are coming from, knocking these dudes out with one stick throw or one punch. But he's going like a few fight minutes with these people. It makes no sense. So Daredevil's definitely nerfed in the whole Netflix series. And he's also nerfed down the Disney Plus show, because if they actually show Daredevil and the skill set that he has, where he's going against Captain America and like Spider-Man in the comics, nobody in the Netflix shows will survive an encounter with Daredevil. So he's definitely soft nerfed. So this next category of nerfed characters is a little bit different. It's more about characters that were predicted, or like they had some big goal they had to accomplish. And instead of accomplishing anything, they got nerfed. So the first character I'm gonna throw in this list is gonna be Laurie Strode from the Halloween series. Specifically from the Halloween Kills movie. So in the Halloween movie, which takes place after the original Halloween, Laurie Strode, basically she was a babysitter and she survived Michael Myers. And after 40 years of trauma, all she does is prepare and get ready for the day that Michael shows up again. So she gets all jacked, she learns all about weapons and guns, she builds like a cabin/trap for him. And Halloween Kills, which is after Halloween, you'd think that she's gonna execute this plan and just hunt down Michael after he escaped, right? No! She spends the whole movie of Halloween Kills basically strapped to a bed in a hospital while freaking Michael Myers goes out there slashing everybody. So this character was built up for nothing. Like Michael's out there having a slash fest and she's basically grandma strapped to a bed who doesn't get to execute any of her plans. So why show us that this character went through so much trauma preparing for Michael, and then at the end she just gets nerfed and ends up the whole movie mostly in the bed? So she definitely got nerfed. and got built up to be benched. This next one kind of hits home because after so many seasons, all my Game of Thrones fans know this next character. He was definitely built up to be benched. I'm talking about Jon Snow. The man literally came back from the dead to defeat the Night King, right? He commanded the Night Watch, he commanded armies. He was basically the heir to Winterfell. This is the guy who was promised to defeat the forces of evil, right? He was supposed to take down the Night King and take down the White Walkers. But no, Jon Snow doesn't do any of that. So why did he come back from the dead if he wasn't going to defeat the Night King? Arya jumps in with some type of crazy move, which was a pretty dope knife move, and takes out the Night King. So basically nerfed Jon Snow's whole storyline for all these seasons. Like, everybody thought that he was promised to do this. Like, this was basically his fate, right? So if anybody was nerfed in Game of Thrones history, it has to be Jon Snow. The man was built up to be benched. For this next character, we're going to stay in the Game of Thrones universe, because you know who I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about the Breaker of Chains. I'm talking about the Dragon Queen. We spent, 6 seasons following this woman, the Chain Breaker, the one who was going to break the wheel and take the Iron Throne. And she was going to free everyone and be the savior of everything. The lady took 2 whole episodes to lose her stuff. I'm talking about she just lost her stuff, got on a dragon, forgot all about the strategy and about the people who lived there who she didn't want to kill, and just got on her dragon, just went mad queen in 1 episode, y'all. 1 episode. So I don't know a character that was built up to be benched and nerfed more than Daenerys Targaryen, who they painted basically as the White Queen. Like, this is the woman that opposite Jon Snow was going to bring back like balance to the realm, and she was going to free everyone, and she was going to make this new order. But no, so I don't know what happened to the writers. They were like, you know what'd be crazy cool? If she just lost to Ish, got on a dragon and burned everybody, right? Yo, we lost our stuff with this one. I lost my stuff when I saw this episode. Like, Game of Thrones had one of the worst endings, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that they just totally messed up this character. They promised so much with Daenerys Targaryen. If anybody was nerfed big time and built up just to be benched, it has to be Daenerys Targaryen. First of her name. Okay, guys, now we're going into the top tier. I'm talking about these are the people who are legends, literal legends, right? And instead of being legends, they turn out to be liabilities. These are people who were super nerfed, people who were like literal gods in their field, and they just end up being giant disappointments, okay? So the first person I'm gonna discuss has to be Wolverine in the Logan movie. Like, Wolvie is basically the best at what he does, and what he does is not nice. But in the Logan movie, in the opening scenes, you see him get jacked by some random lowlifes. And I kept thinking, like, how is this possible? And I don't care how drunk he is. I don't care how down on his luck he is. I don't care how much adamantium poison the man has in his blood. Wolverine should not be carjacked and taken out by some randos. It makes no sense. And I will admit that Logan is one of my favorite X-Men movies. That movie's perfect. But that one scene, it always itches at me. I'm like, why Wolverine? Why would he get jumped by some randos, like some desert thieves for his wheels, and he can't put up a fight? Like, it's ridiculous. And at the rest of the movie, we see what a beast he can be. So he was definitely top tier nerfed in this movie. He went from legend to liability. And this is a prime example of something of like just writing, just nerfing a character. Okay, going a little bit higher on the list, somebody who also is like top tier nerf has to be Obi-Wan Kenobi from his own series on Disney+. Like Obie Wan, who we saw take on Maul with no problem at the end of the Clone Wars. If you ever watched that episode of the Clone Wars, Darth Maul, who was probably at his peak at this point, like he'd been through everything, and Obi-Wan takes him out with no problem at that campsite, right? He takes him out with no problem. But here we have on a Disney Plus show, and Obi-Wan is freaking getting kicked around by some mid-level, like mid-tier Inquisitors who had no business stepping to Obi-Wan. And even the fights that he has with Vader, if you saw that, he definitely gave Anakin the business, even though he had the high ground. You can say that him and Anakin were going 50-50 in that fight, but at the end of it, when he meets Darth Vader, I don't care how rusty he is, like, he should have gave him more of a fight, right? This is Obi-Wan. Like, he forgot how to use the Force. You can't sell that to me. So I know that they had to create conflict, and they had to create tension, and it definitely put me off because I wanted to see like Obi-Wan like at his top level. Like, I wanted to see him as a younger man with all his skills and all the wisdom that he had at that point attained. Like, I wanted to see him wielding that, that force, that power, but we never got to see that top tier Obi-Wan. He was definitely nerfed, and he went from legend to liability on a Disney Plus show. Okay, guys, so we're approaching the last character on this list of nerf characters. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Tone Show. I could do other tier lists, And at the end of this video, if you want to watch another list, I did a list about characters who should not have taken off their helmets in universe because it went against canon. So I'm gonna put that at the end of this video so you can check it out. So the last character that I'm gonna talk about, that he was like legend and he went to liability, it has to be the Hulk in Infinity War and Endgame. Like the Hulk, it was just devastating what they did to the Hulk, right? The Hulk was basically that one character. This is World Breaker Hulk. This is the character who had no problem taking down a whole Leviathan by himself in the first Avengers movie, right? Like Loki found out why the Avengers have a Hulk and what he can do. And to get his butt whipped so bad by Thanos and not even give him a rematch. Remember, this is the Hulk that went against Thor in that arena and held his own and gave Thor some ass whooping at some times, right? And then Thor at the end of Endgame, he's the one who brings it to Thanos. So think about it, like if that Hulk could stand next to Thor, how is it that Thanos could beat him so badly? And then he gets all brainy and muscular and still we don't even see him in that fight. Like it was criminal for the writers to leave the Hulk out of that fight that included Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. Like it was criminal not to have the Hulk redeem himself and not to see us put that brawn to use, right? I don't care that he used the glove and he did the snap. I wanted to see him kick Thanos' butt. So the fact that they nerfed him so bad, this is the Hulk. Like this guy, the angrier he gets, the more powerful he gets. He should have been angry from what happened to him before. So he was top tier nerfed. If there was ever a character that went from legend to liability, it has to be the Hulk in Infinity War and in Endgame. He was definitely nerfed. So what do you guys think of this list? Like, did I miss any characters or any of these characters you think were nerfed more than others? What do you think the reason is for nerfing these characters? Put it in the comments. This is just my list of characters that I thought were nerfed. Put it in the comments if you have more characters that should probably be on this list. As always, guys, it's a Tone Show. Tone Show out.